Welcome back to another episode. My name is Anita.
And I am Betsy. And you are listening to Ain't That Some Shit?
Dale, tilín.
Eso, tilín.
Okay, ya.
Okay, ya.
Compórtate como gente grande.
Por
como
favor.
Profesional, ¿no es cierto?
Sing. Thank you guys for joining us. This episode is going to talk about
relationships.
Ya valió madre.
Yeah.
Damn.
This is going to be a good one. I feel like
I think
we all struggle with that.
Relationships
are hard.
Another non-paying job.
Right? Dude, I feel like parenting and relationships are the hardest thing in the world. Come fight me.
Yeah,
Come fight me.
Yeah.
Tell me otherwise.
I can't. Relationship is hard. You have two people from two different worlds coming together as a team, but at the same time,
living
we a
their
team?
Own world.
Are we a team? I mean, you're from planet Venus and I'm from planet Pluto.
Just kidding. No,
so it's definitely a subject that a lot of people don't like to touch because it comes with a lot of strings attached, but they have to be spoken about. So here we are.
Love is beautiful, but it's hard.
It's hard. It's very hard.
I love relationships, honestly. Like, I love being in a relationship,
Me
but
too.
it's hard.
Me too, especially out with the world right now the way it is. Like, you can't trust nobody out there no more. So I love relationships, and I've always been a relationship type of person. You know, I love the commitment. I love the long term.
Yeah.
I love the stability. I love the sharing, and just like knowing you have somebody there to love you.
Yeah.
But do you have somebody there to love you? Do you love that person? And
O no es costumbre or things like that. Yeah.
Or can you accept everything
about them
and what the relationship has to bring? And that's when it gets hard. That's when it gets hard because now you are juggling. And let's just be straight, okay? When you're in a relationship, it's not your job to make somebody else happy.
Absolutely.
It's not your job. Your job is to be there for them, in my opinion, right? I'm giving you what I think.
No, it's true.
Based on a relationship.
It's literally been...
Yeah.
It's psychologists, psychiatrists, everybody preaches it, and it's true because it's not your job to make anybody happy. It's your job to make yourself happy.
You're so happy.
And that's the part where a lot of people, including myself, gets confused because we're so used to being saved. We're used to being, having that someone come for you. When in reality.
But, like I said, it's
Naciste solo, te mueres solo.
But no, it shouldn't be like that, you know?
No, but it's true. You need to learn how to love yourself. You can't be in a relationship and expect everything to be perfect if there's no self-love.
No, there's no perfect relationship. Everybody, I was one of them. I was guilty. I got married very young. I got married at 20 years old.
Me too. High five.
Yo me saqué todo el pedo. That sounded so wrong.
Espero que no te lo hayas sacado ahorita porque you just had a fucking tuna sandwich. Si te sacaste todo el pedo ahorita, no. If I'm dead, if you see me on the floor, you know why, guys. Come after Betsy. It's caught on camera, so.
Oh my god, oh my gosh, that came out so wrong. But what I mean is, like, I took out, like, the party mode off, like, at a very young age. You got things out of your
system.
Yes, I got a lot of things out of my system at a very young age. So by the time I was 20, I wanted a steady relationship.
You knew what you wanted.
I wanted, I didn't want to party no more. I didn't want to be getting drunk every weekend.
You knew what that life was already.
I lived it, been there, done that, moving on.
Yeah.
So by the time I was 20, I met my significant other at 18. We dated for 2 years, and I got married at 20. Man, what a game changer. What a game changer. Getting to know somebody. When you're dating, you see the pretty stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Living together.
And then as soon as you get married and you live in the same
necessarily
home,
married. It's just living together.
Living together.
Because you could, I feel like marriage is it's just a paper.
That's what I thought.
Right?
That was me. I was the one opposed to marriage. I didn't want to get married. It's just a paper. It's expensive to get married. It's expensive to get divorced. That was my mentality. But
so what's your mentality now? Or why do you say...
No, I'm just kidding.
I'm like, so why'd you say was?
Same. No, I'm just kidding. Now it's different. Now a relationship is different. It involves a lot of components to make that marriage work. Or relationship, right?
A relationship. Marriage is really the same thing.
Same thing.
But
I think there's more commitment, though. When you're married, there's way more commitment than just a relationship.
I think it depends, though, because a lot of people... I feel like, for me, marriage is just... like, whether you're living with someone or you're married is the same thing. It's just the relationship.
No.
Because I feel like marriage is just a piece of paper.
And you see, to me, it's not.
Like, what is it to you?
To me, a marriage is like, we're in this. I'm old-fashioned, guys. We're in this till death do us part.
But shouldn't that be when you're in a relationship?
But a relationship is really like, I love you, I'm with you, I'm committed to you.
Yeah, but it's the same thing as a marriage.
I don't see it like that.
Really? Because
I feel like I would work, honestly, for me, right? For me, the way Betsy is, or was, maybe still is. I don't know. I'm figuring myself out too.
You're like, I'm trying to say what
But I think that if I was in a relationship, it would be so easier for me to be like, peace. I'm out.
Well, I think, yeah, and I get that. But for me, it's like when you have a family, it's different. And not necessarily the married, because...
That's true.
I think the family,
is different.
That's what is different.
But if we talk about, why I think that way is relationship, I think it would be easier for me to bounce. In marriage, it's like, I'm married.
But if you were married and you didn't have kids, would you still bounce?
If I was married and I still had kids? Absolutely.
No, if you didn't have kids.
If I didn't have kids and I still married? Oh, damn.
See, that's what I'm saying. It's the kids. It's just the family, not the marriage.
I guess.
You get what I mean? Sorry, I had to... give her a wake-up call. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, thanks.
I keep cornering her. I'm just kidding. No, but it's true.
It's true.
It's just, I feel like it's the family that really puts things different when there's kids involved. Because, whether you're married and you have no kids, it's easier to bounce, too. You're like, please.
That's so true. Because I've actually, in my marriage, when we've gone through a lot.
I mean, you were married for 18 years. You're married for 18 years.
No,
right?
16. Married for 16. Dated. Known each other for 18. Yeah, together for 18. Wow. And we've been through a lot. And we both, when we were like, reflecting on our past, we're like, if it wasn't that we had Ethan, because we had Ethan when I was 21, like literally got married, got pregnant. If we would have not had Ethan that soon, we both agree that we would have gone our separate ways.
Wow.
Yeah. We would have been like, I'm not dealing with her shit. And I'm like, I'm not dealing with this crazy ass.
Yeah.
There
was a bigger reason to
stay.
Things.
Exactly. So yeah, I guess, you're absolutely correct. She's right. One for Anita.
Unfortunately, she's like, I gotta give it to her.
For me. But back to what we're talking about, relationship, it's a big commitment and it comes attached to many different strings and components that in order for it to work,
there has to be all that in place.
All that has to be in place.
And let's talk about the first one, communication.
Ooh. So for women, it's easy to communicate.
No.
Oh, for me it is.
See, but don't speak for a woman because you say you're
cálmate, güey.
You say
cálmate.
No,
damn. Anita's taking over.
No.
Anything. What the hell?
I'm sorry.
Your proud immigrant thing is making you.
Let me take off the beanie.
Take off the beanie.
You're like, as a matter of fact, let me take that shit off for you. No, but not all women, because, for example, you say she's amazing at communicating, you guys. She's like not that type of person where you text. Like she'll be texting me, she's like, screw this. She calls me. She's
I hate texting.
Let's communicate,
And wait, stop right there. Texting takes everything out of context.
Oh,
everything.
Agree.
I could tell you, be like, hey, can you please da-da-da-da-da-da, and it could sound completely different to the other person on the other side of the phone.
You're like, all I said was
and then
just
they'll
this.
be like, why you being a dick?
Yeah.
Can I say that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And, so text message for me, I hate it. Most of my friends would know that I hardly text. I call. I actually bug because I call. And then I hate when they text me back and I just called you and be like, you have time to text, but you don't even answer the phone. She's
throwing shade at me. I do that. I'll be like texting her.
I hate that. And then when I don't answer her text, I'll be like, hey, okay, yeah. Now you call me?
And that's funny because you're like the only person I call back because I'm like, I already know she does not like text.
I hate texting.
And everybody else I text back.
Yeah.
It's so funny because I know where I prioritize you with calls. I'm like, she's not a text girl. I gotta call her.
But yeah, communication is very
and you're
very
really good at that.
Yeah.
You are amazing at that. See, for me, I'm not good at communication at all. I hate confrontation and I hate peeping.
I hate peeping?
I hate peeing. I'm just kidding.
Sorry, we just had a
good lunch.
I got a good lunch.
But I hate confrontation. I hate not that I hate, but hate is a really strong word. But I don't like to make other people feel bad about themselves or just confrontation in general. So I tend to just seclude everything to myself. And, I kind of, in my head, I'm like, I expect you to know, without actually communicating. And I feel like a lot of times, a lot of women are guilty of that,
But that's the thing. You can't expect something from someone.
If you don't communicate.
Well, not only that, we are so good at putting expectations on people. For example, you go on a date, you meet somebody, and the women, not all women.
Thank you.
99.9% of the time, that woman in her head, she already had a long-term relationship. She already slept with them. She already had kids. She already got married. She's seen herself.
She lived her life already.
She is imagining and putting all these expectations on that person. And then when they get heartbroken, they blame it on that person. But that person really had nothing to do with your breakup. You were expecting something that was never there.
Ooh.
Women make up scenarios in their head, and we're so good at that.
It's so true.
We're so good at that.
I agree. 100%.
And so we, quit with expectations. Stop expecting stuff from people. That's the reason we have to get to know somebody when we're dating. We have to get to know the good, the ugly, the bad. Why? Because it will help you better when you're handling stuff with that person. Yeah. But if you're expecting that person to do something, they can't read your mind.
Exactly.
And women are so good expecting the men to read our mind.
I'm guilty of that.
And the man is like, well, what the hell? I just gave you a hug. And you're like, no, but I wanted a kiss. Like, you didn't fucking tell me that.
It's true.
Men are not like that. But
see, and that's what I've always wondered, like, how do men think? And
then we'll have a men perspective. This
would have been a really good podcast to have a man come in.
Yeah, but right now, we're trying to put everything in place. But I think when that time comes again, where we have to talk about relationships, we're gonna see the guy part. So now we get to ask the questions, and the guy gets to answer, and then we're like,
I didn't know that. Yeah.
But it's just like I said, it's we think they know, but they don't know.
They don't know.
And they will never know because we are great at communicating, but we're also great at expecting them to know. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
How is he going to know? Poor dude. No. So communication is key. And I'm very good at that. I'm very good at communicating what I want, what I like, everything.
And no, see, for me, it's the complete opposite. I mean, I know what I want, but I just don't communicate it.
Yeah.
I don't like confrontation, and I was just like, if I say it, I might make him feel some type of way, And one of the things in my relationship that I feel was a big thing, and unfortunately, it's the most important thing, was communication that we lacked.
Yeah.
And if you have two people that love each other, if the communication isn't there, then unfortunately you can't make it work.
So let me ask you this. You're bad at communicating. How was he?
Also.
Eek.
That's what I'm saying. It's we were both bad at communicating. It's like we thought we knew what we both wanted, or like you said, expectations.
Or what you guys each need. And
but the communication wasn't fully to 100% to the extent. I mean, we communicated, but when it came to our expectations, it was never communicated because we were both afraid of hurting each other or
what it would cause,
etc. You know? So, and like I said, unfortunately, that is the most important thing in a relationship.
Yeah. And you see, I'm the other way around.
See?
I vomit from the mouth. This is how I feel. And, you know, and then my significant other, he's like, okay. Mm-hmm. And he bottled everything. If he felt sad, if he felt neglected, if anything, he bottled into himself. But the problem with that was that when he had enough of me yapping and communicating too much, he was just like, yeah, you know, and exploded. Soltaba todo. And I was like, dude, I never knew you even felt like that. I didn't know that I was making you feel like that.
Yeah.
Like, how am I supposed to know? So you had one that over communicates and you had the one that just bottles up.
See, we were both just in my relationship, it was just both of us bottling things up.
Yeah.
And it came to a point where we both boop.
And you know what I mean? I think that's why communication is number one.
And that's what I'm learning now. Yeah. Learning how to communicate. And not just that, but learning how to use the proper words. Because you can communicate all you want. And if you don't learn how to, let's say, ¿cómo se dice? If you don't know how to express yourself or put your thoughts into a way where it doesn't come off as wrong. Because you could communicate and they can interpret it completely wrong, or they feel like you're attacking them. You know, it's learning also how to approach the situation.
You and I have talked about that a lot.
Exactly.
Because I told if it's okay to share, but you know, you're throwing out your emotions and letting that person know how you feel, but you're sounding like me.
Yes.
And then 100%. The other person's gonna feel like, dude, but you're still not getting it. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's just like, it's not his fault, it's not your fault, but it's just the proper way of communicating. It's not being crossed the right way.
Yes. And so learning how to do that. Yeah. And that's something I still struggle with till this day. You know, even though I know the importance of communication, I still need to find that medium to where I'm like, okay, how do I express myself without sounding it? That what word choice can I use so that it doesn't come out as in it's just about me. It's just, you know, that's the hard part.
Yeah.
Trying to communicate and not sounding out as needy or accusing you, stuff like that. The word choice. Oh, that. I need to start getting into more reading of stuff like that. Communication.
Yeah. And you see, I need
help with that.
With me, it's just I communicate, I over communicate, and then once like I'm not being heard because you know it's just not being reciprocated. What the hell?
Because you said I'm like reciprocated. Reciprocated.
That word, guys.
You know that word, but we're like, and then we continue like, we got this shit. Girl, I was about to spit my water all over you. Reciprocated. Reciprocated. Just stop. You know what we mean. Continue, please.
I can't.
Like, so last time we were talking and I was talking about intimacy. And this is the same thing that's happening. We need to work on our vocabulary, girl. I'm sorry for interrupting you, but that was so funny. Okay. So, yeah.
So communication is definitely key in your relationship. It's something that's going to make it become a healthy relationship.
Healthy relationship.
And that's what you want, a healthy relationship. Yes, not every relationship is perfect. But if you have the main things, you know, I'm not saying you're going to have it perfect, but if you have the main things in place, there's way of making it work and understanding each other and then moving on. Mm-hmm. Instead of just bottling everything up, keeping all these angers, feeling unappreciated and all this other stuff that comes without communicating. And then looking back and there's no way to fix it anymore. Yeah. It's gone for too long.
Yes. Okay.
You know, the other thing would be boundaries. Boundaries are very important.
Yes.
You know, knowing when to stop, because sometimes as women, we communicate way over, too much. Knowing when to stop so they could go and gather what you just communicated and process it and then come back and be like, I understand what you're saying. I hear you, but this is how I feel. You know?
But see, I think it really takes a lot. You have to be like emotionally mature to do that.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of times you can be in a relationship where they're not mentally mature.
Yeah.
And it just won't process to them like that. It can come off as, once again, needy, or, you know, just it's you or whatever, you know? But I think your significant other has to have that awareness as well, to be able to be open to, because you can communicate all you want, and if that person isn't understanding it, what's the communication, you know?
Yeah, but I think with boundaries, there's boundaries to everything, though. There's boundaries on what you do and how you do it, okay? So, for example, if you know your wife is not happy with something that you're doing and you keep on doing it, and she already told you how she felt, she already told you how she feels, how she feels and how she's, you know, dealing with that.
Yeah.
And you're still you're not respecting her boundaries.
Exactly.
You're not respecting, you know, how she feels. And 100%. Now, not only that, you're going and doing other stuff. And now you're just like, you're messing.
It's just adding to the problem.
You're adding wood to the fire.
Yeah.
So boundaries in place for a marriage or a relationship is very important.
I agree 100%.
And that's where respect comes in.
Yeah, because like you said, there could be boundaries, but if there's no respect, what's the point of having the boundaries? You know, even though you might not be okay with it, but just respecting your significant other's boundaries.
And that's very hard.
That's hard.
That's very hard because when I get mad, he's a hothead. So when he gets mad, he explodes. When I get mad, I explode. You know, but I take longer
to explode.
I take way longer.
So it takes more to push your buttons.
So I see it like this, right? I over communicate and he bottles up. So he's bottling and he's keeping all the stuff, and then boom, he explodes. Yeah. And me, I'm just seeing it, and you keep doing it, and you keep doing it, and then it's just like I blow up. It's like, dude, how can you not understand that affects me? How can you not understand that that's not okay?
Even after you communicated. Because you're good at communicating.
I'm good at communicating. But if you keep doing that to me, and you keep doing it, and after I've explained it to you so many times, whatever the situation
is,
I explode.
Yeah.
And then now you have a hothead, and then you have this hothead, and it's just a recipe for chaos.
Yeah. Well, like you said, I think, you know, as women can only take so much. You know, and if you're communicating how you've been feeling, and it's like their action says otherwise, there's going to come a point in your life where you're like, okay, I've communicated to you and you're going to explode. For sure. Yeah. For sure.
So respect is definitely also on the very top of those topics. Communication, respect, I think, are very big. Boundaries, trust. And that was one of my main things in the beginning of my marriage was trust. It was not based off him. It was based off me and how I felt and the insecurities that I had. And, you know, all that good stuff that comes with, you know, not feeling.
Self-love. Comes back to self-love.
It comes back to self-love. So, and also vice versa, right? Don't do something. You know what your partner likes and doesn't like. Yeah. You know, so I know what triggers him. I know what offends him. I know what hurts him.
I've never heard it like that.
You know how to push. And I'm not saying, you know, oh, that's not. You know what ticks him off. You know how to hurt them. You know how to upset him. I know how to do all those. I do. No, it's 100%. Do I want to do it? No. Do I sometimes do it and it's unintentionally? Yes. But that also goes back to trust. Why am I going to do that to the person that I love? Yeah. Why am I going to go out there and have a wonder eye or talk to somebody and I know that's going to hurt him? That's going to affect him. You know what I mean? Exactly. So trust is very important. If you trust your significant other, it doesn't matter what they do. You trust them. Exactly. You trust them till they give you a reason not to trust. And 100%. That's where, you know, the women or the men start feeling insecure. Am I good enough? What does he see in her? Or what does she see in him that I don't have? And that's just a cluster of shit in your head.
And it just messes
waiting
with
to destroy what you've built.
100%. Yeah.
And so it just...
For sure, trust.
Yeah.
And it sucks, because sometimes if you've been in a previous relationship where trust has been broken and you've been hurt so many times, you kind of just go based off that. You kind of have a wall up. You know what I mean? You have a wall up and then it's hard for you to let that wall down.
Yeah.
It's hard. And it makes it hard and this is why it's so important to heal your trauma. Don't jump into another relationship until you're completely healed. Yeah. And that's one of the biggest mistakes I feel like we do as humans. A lot of us don't like to be alone. As soon as you get out of a relationship, what do? You tend to go and seek validation in other places, right? And unfortunately, a lot of times it has to do with another person because you're trying to feel validated. You're trying to cover those, you're grieving. Yeah. So in order for you to feel a certain way, you seek that other places. And if you're not healing that trauma, if you're not healing internally by yourself and healing whatever it is that is causing you to feel that way, when you jump into another relationship, it's going to carry on. And unfortunately, it's going to keep going and happening no matter whether it's this person, that person. The problem is going to keep going. And even if you have the most loyal guy, it's going to happen. It's a cycle.
It's a roller coaster.
Exactly.
It's, I see healing in a way, okay, for my, if I'm healing from past trauma in my relationship, am I ready to go to a new one? No. Because I haven't healed that. And I could have probably, that next guy is probably the guy.
And
the guy.
Yeah.
But I am not healed. So what am I going to do?
It's not going to work out.
I'm going to destroy the shit out of it. And now that perfect guy goes and be an asshole to his perfect girl.
Yeah. It's a cycle.
It's a cycle.
100%.
So if you have not healed from your past relationships, you are not ready to move on. You're right. When you separate, I'm used to being with somebody. I'm used to having somebody. Good or bad, he's there. Good or bad, I'm there, right? So after you finish a long-term relationship, you do feel lonely.
But that does not make you to go
exactly.
Go search somewhere else.
Exactly, because then you're not doing the proper things to become better.
Healing, no, at all.
So
you have to heal whatever was that broke that
exactly.
Apart,
for me, it's just I wasn't ready. I'm still not ready. And that's okay. It's probably going to take me another year before I even move on to a new relationship or try to figure out the one that I used to have.
Yeah.
But that's okay. As long as I take the time I need to heal properly, to figure Betsy, what does she want now? That was the old Betsy. What does this Betsy want? Exactly. Her mentality has changed from the time that she was a 20-year-old, young, married, 21-year-old mom, first-time mom. My whole vision has changed from there.
Absolutely.
So sometimes, people fall in love with that. And maybe when I become this Betsy that I want to become, he's not going to love that Betsy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's okay. He's allowed to do that. And so am I.
Yeah.
So it just comes again, healing, time, trust, communication, boundaries, respect.
Yeah. Wow. All of that.
All of it.
So which I think being your own person, it leads to being your own person, right? Because a lot of times you become one type of thing where you feel like everything needs to be done together. And you forget who you are. You start living kind of like, how do you say that word? You start codependent.
Oh.
Codependency, right?
Yeah.
Because you forget who you are. And you feel like you guys, it's good, yes, teamwork and being a team, but don't forget about yourself along the way. Don't forget, that it's important to be out and about and then trust, it's okay for your significant other to go and do what he has to do. And it's important for you to go and do what you have to do, right? And be your own person. But a lot of times it becomes very toxic because, I get it. You go through that honeymoon stage where you want to be together 24/7. And I think we're all guilty of that. Once you first start a relationship, 24/7, you're like, ¿Dónde estás? ¿Qué estás haciendo? And it's constantly like together. Everything has to be done together. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you become so used to that, that when obviously life happens, kids happen, businesses happen, all of that. And, it starts creating that separation and you start feeling like, wait, what's going on?
So I was very guilty of that. I was very guilty in the beginning of my marriage to be codependent. I wanted to be with him. I wanted to go everywhere he went. If he was happy, I was happy. If he was sad, I was sad. You know what I mean? If he was mad, I was pissed.
Yeah.
So
you became one type of thing.
I became one type of thing, and I was very codependent of him. Once I actually learned that in a class, in a session. And the therapist called me out. He's like, you know what you are? And I was like, no. He's like, you're codependent. And I'm like,
like, what does that mean?
No,
what
do you mean? And, I Googled it and I was like, am I? And then I read like everything that, what codependency brings. And I was like, oh my gosh.
You don't realize it. No. And it happens so slowly that, that happened to me. I was so codependent and that I truly lost myself. And you kind of start feeling like they're responsible for your happiness. Whatever it is, it's like, no, you're responsible for my happiness.
You're supposed to make me happy.
Exactly.
And it's
not like that. And unfortunately, I had to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
I had to learn like, oh, snap. Yeah. This is not how it is. It's like you need to make your own self happy. You're responsible for your own happiness. You want something, you got to go and get it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And it's unfair to put that pressure on your significant other as well.
And don't get me wrong. I still, not that I'm dependent of him, but there's still stuff that I do depend on him for, and it's not like the bad stuff. I'm not saying it's bad to depend on your significant other.
Oh, no, of course not. It's a teamwork.
It's a teamwork, yeah. But,
it gets to a point where it's too much.
It's exactly.
There's
when is it
boundaries.
Too much? When it's toxic now.
Yeah.
Yes. So for me, I still depend on some things, depend and expect some things from him, but I communicated that, and I know that he could do that, and also he knows that he could do that. It goes back again, communication,
boundaries, balance.
Yeah. So it's just like I said, relationship comes with a bunch of strings attached, and they're all intertwined.
Yes, but you do have to take one at a time.
Now I'm that type of person is like, baby, call me in the morning and say good morning. I hope you have a great day. God bless you. And lunchtime, hey, how's your day going? And then at nighttime, how was your day?
See, and I loved that about my relationship because we did that.
Yeah.
It was where it was like we would wake up. Sometimes I didn't even know where he was at.
Yeah.
That's how,
You had a really good...
the trust was there. Everything was there. Yeah. It was like we wake up, we're like, okay, you have work today. And then I wouldn't know that he was in LA till, maybe I'll like text him like, hey babe, how are you doing? Or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm in LA. I'll probably be home till 9 or so.
Yeah.
So I loved that about our relationship. I loved how we were both our own people and we came together at the end of the night and, it was like, oh, okay, how was your day? Or whatever, So, once we had Aiden, it was a little bit difficult because, I had to put him into bed. And then I was like, okay, I'll wake up after I put him to sleep. I would never wake up, you know? But I love the fact that there was just that trust like that. And then he was able to do his thing. I was able to do my thing.
Yeah.
And it's nice, but it was a little hard at first because when like I said, we were growing up together, being together, everything that, it was constantly like always together, doing everything together. Even with my pregnancy with me, like he was there through every doctor's appointment. He was there. Ultrasound, he was there. Any appointment, he was
everything.
There. Yeah. So then, once life happened, we gave birth to Mila. He started his own business. Everything, slowly it started to change where our priorities started to shift around. It was no longer just me. Yeah. His world didn't revolve around me anymore. It was, I have to prioritize work, prioritize this, prioritize that. So, and that's where it was a little hard for me at first because I was like, wait, like, what about me? You're forgetting about me. Yeah. And then I started kind of getting used to it. I'm like, okay, I got to start doing little things for myself as well, And, but yeah, that's how it is. Sometimes it's hard for you to accept and break that little pattern.
Yeah.
Especially if you've been so accustomed to it for a long periods of time, it gets hard to shift or break that.
This is a question you guys asked us, after, I believe, what was the question was, after being married for so long.
The sex drive.
The sex drive is gone.
Yeah. And there's a lot of things that can be of why the sex drive is in there. It could be, you know, another person. It could be hormones. Yeah, absolutely. Hormonal, you know, work, stress.
Yeah.
All of that. It plays a huge part, you know, or, you know, you're just losing that communication with your significant other and you haven't communicated it, that it makes you feel, or resentment, if you have resentment towards your partner, but they don't know. Yeah. You know, like I said, if communication was never there and your expectations of your significant other are this and that, but they're not being met because you haven't communicated, you start kind of feeling some type of weight with
because you have, you know, because I've heard, right, I don't know if it's true, but I've heard the relationships that, you know, it's very like toxic and stuff, and they cause an argument to have the makeup sex.
Oh.
Yeah. To have the makeup sex. Like, they're looking forward to that. And then to me, I'm like, dude, if I'm pissed at you, I don't even want to look at you. Don't touch me. Don't breathe on me. Nothing.
Nothing. Like, get away from my face.
Yeah. Yeah. But, you know, I'm also, you know, I was in a marriage for 16 years. And that was, you know, that was not a part of our problems. And a lot of people that I know that are married for such a long time, that is one of their main problems. You know, I have people that I know that, you know, there's no sex drive at all.
Wow.
And I know for a fact I couldn't be married.
And I think that's like
no sex drive.
Important.
That's very important.
That has like a huge thing,
and people,
you know?
think it's not. People don't think that, you know, sex drive in their marriage is not important. Yes, it is, because it's a time where you guys connect. It's a guys where you guys, you know,
on a deeper level, connection on a deeper level.
In a deeper level. Yes. So, you know, like I said, for me, like, I know people that have been in marriages for many years, 13 plus years. Yeah. And there's none at all.
Wow.
None.
Wow.
And it's just like, how the hell?
How?
I can't. I wouldn't. How? Like, and I can't wrap my mind around it. I could never. You know? So it's just, at what point does all this other stuff, communication, trust, all that, come into play when there's no sex drive? Yeah. Because I believe that if there's no sex drive in a marriage, that's when the cheating happens. That's when the man starts wondering and their eyes is going everywhere, googly eyes everywhere. What about the woman? The woman starts finding that, you know, connection with somebody else, the feeling wanted and needed. You start
not seeking, but you start getting what you're looking for.
And it's more like validation also, right?
Yeah.
It's validation because it's like, okay, he doesn't want me, he's married to me, but this one's all over me. Yeah. You know? So it's like, which one is it?
Well, I mean, as women, I feel like we love attention. Yeah. You know? I mean, whether it's nice to have, like, attention, but are you going to feed into it? Absolutely not. That's up to you, right? Yeah. But I agree, you know, if you're getting attention from somewhere else, it's like, that's where cheating happens because you're not getting it from home.
And then, okay, so let's say, you know, you guys are both in a relationship, and what do you do to spice it up? Do you try different things? Do you keep the same routine? Is it the same thing all the time? Maybe that's why the sex drive left in the first place.
In the first place, yeah.
And I think a marriage has to be, or a relationship, you got
breaking cycles.
Yeah, you have, to me, right? This is my opinion. In my relationships, or my marriage, that's important. That's one of my important things. I think that's on top of communication, trust, and sex. Yeah. Sex drive. Sex drive. Yeah. You know? Because it's just, that to me are the main components. Communication, I trust you, and you are my person. Like, that's the one I want to do stuff with. But how do I keep it alive? Yeah. You know? Yeah. How would you keep it alive?
Yeah. I agree with you.
But how would you keep it alive?
Yeah, I'm asking you a question. Yeah, breaking the cycle, trying different things.
No, but how would you keep your sex marriage alive?
Trying different things. No?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
No, yeah. I'm like open to trying different things. Because at the end of the day, it's like, you know, for me, sex it's a more of a deeper connection. Yeah. You know, you really have to feel something for that person. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah. It's not just about having sex. It's really about the connection and the feelings that go with that. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
You know, when you share with the right person. And so I think, you know, if you're lacking that and trying different things, that's how you keep it alive.
And I think the other thing too is like, who makes the first move? In some relationships, maybe the guy's the one only making the move, and then he gets tired of it.
Right.
Because he's the one that's wanting you, but you're just going along with it to please him. But maybe he wants you to make the first move.
Try it.
You know?
Yeah.
Try it.
Buy new lingerie.
Yeah, that's keeping your sex life alive with your partner. And it's okay. And a lot of people are not. I'm actually feeling kind of like uncomfortable talking about it.
It is a very difficult subject to talk about.
Yeah.
Because not a lot of people are comfortable talking about that. Especially putting it on air with like hundreds of people, thousands of people probably, you know?
I know.
But, you know, one of the things we said was keeping it raw and real. And this is how it is, you know? We're just like any of you out there. But, you know, it does happen when you've been in a relationship for such a long time. And it's not necessarily because you want it to happen. Sometimes it's just we get so caught up
in life and stress and
kids,
money issues.
Business. Stress is like the number one killer for hormones, you know? And as women, I mean, we get periods. We're all over the place.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sure for men too, it's like a lot of stress, especially if they're the provider, if they have a lot on top of their shoulders, it makes it 10 times harder for them to even focus, or just, you know, they're so used to just being like, oh my God, I need to provide, I need to do this, I'm working, I'm doing this, you know? So by the time they get home, it's like, all I want to do is just relax. I just want to sleep.
Yeah,
or whatever.
And the women too.
Same as us. We don't even have time. Like, I would put Aiden to sleep, and I was like, okay, I'll wake up, and then I knock out. And especially because he's a newborn, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're tired. You're exhausted, dude. Yeah. Like, 2 kids, you know, we get tired. But life happens, and it's not because you don't love each other. It's not because, you know, the love isn't there, right? It's just life happens. And there we go, here again with that communication. You don't communicate how you're feeling and all of that. It starts trickling down till one day it just explodes, and, you know, it just happens.
So for some of you that asked that question, maybe trying something new, you know, maybe go buy that cute outfit that makes you feel sexy, you know, maybe send, you know, like a sexy text or a sexy picture,
or
you know,
something like that.
Something. So when he gets home, he's like, oh yeah.
Or talk to him.
And tell him, like,
maybe it's not even that. It's just maybe something that he's going through mentally, or, you know, maybe, you know, because men go through depression as well. Yeah. We go through depression, so they do as well. Yeah. It's just, you know, a lot of times men are not as good as we are to communicate when you're feeling a certain type of way, right?
Yes.
So, you know, and it's a lot less common for men to talk about depression. It's like, it's hardly...
It's a lot less common for men to talk, period.
Yeah, no, it's
you
true.
Know? Gosh.
So, you know, approach your significant other. Be like, hey, what's going on? You know, why is this happening? And, you know, but hormones too, like you said.
Yeah. And then, and believe it or not, there's actually places where they check your hormone. And in some women, your estrogen's too high or your estrogen's too low, and that affects your libido. Same for men. Their testosterone's too low, that affects their libido. So it goes both ways. It could be a lot of things. So don't, you know, jump to conclusions. Talk to him. Talk to her. Figure out what's going on. And then come up with a plan. You know, if you guys are both busy and stressed and just trying to pick that back up, schedule it. You know?
No, it's true.
Schedule it. So like that, you know, you guys are both on the same page, and you guys know that you guys can't go to sleep till something happens, you know?
Yeah.
But that's very, very important. But what about when you have to juggle sex life and the kiddos?
That's hard.
That's hella hard.
That's what I was telling you. You know, I think with me, like having a 6-year-old, having a baby, it's like, you know, by the end of the day, I'm mentally and physically exhausted. Even though I try to keep up, I'm like, you know, I'm like, I'll put the kid down, and then as soon as he falls asleep, I'll wake up, but I would just knock out.
You see, so to me, it's different because I have a teenager. I have a 9-year-old and a 5-year-old. 9-year-old, 5-year-old, so don't know anything. They're always following me. They're following him. You know, we try to go escape, and it's like, Mom, know, knocking, and I'm like, I'm taking a shower. Where's Dad? I don't know. You know? Or we go to the closet, or we hide.
Yeah,
when you have kids, you hide.
That is so true.
You hide.
I agree with that.
Girl, like, you know.
You're trying to find ways.
We're trying to find ways. So now, not only do you have to deal with
it makes
all
it
this
10 times
other
harder.
stuff, but now you gotta hide and make, you know.
But it kind of, I kind of like that too, though, because it just spices up things a little. You know, you can't, but then it's like, you know, that's just me.
With me, it's just like.
But it is stressful.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck.
You know? And it's like, Ethan's always following him. And before it was me, but now, like, the older he gets, he's following him. Emma's, like, to my hip. The only one that's to herself, and it's so crazy, is the middle child.
Oh, wow.
She's just in her room in her iPad, and she's like,
who cares what they're doing?
Mom, I'm hungry. Mom, I'm bored. You know, like, but the other two are always, Mom,
around you guys.
You know? So, hide.
Lock the doors.
Lock the door, you know? This is all that happens in a relationship, you know?
But no, you don't have to, guys. Just FYI.
And time alone together, you know?
Oh, time alone together.
It doesn't have to be just
really
for that.
That's really important.
You know, go walk at the beach. You know, it doesn't have to cost money to spend quality time together.
Yeah, no.
And people think it's like, oh, I don't have money, it's going to cost money. No. Nah, dude, make some sandwiches, put it in a Ziploc bag, and go to the beach.
Park or the
go
beach.
to the park.
Yeah.
You know? Or go drive around and go look at the stars. I don't know, but little things like that matter to women.
Which brings us to our next subject,
love
language. You know, I think a lot of times we both have different love languages.
Yeah.
And that's the hard part. How do you meet in the middle? How do you find your significant other's love language?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So, I'm sorry. I'm going to get my phone because there's an app. My sisters and I, we had a girls' night, and we were talking about love language. And my mom actually chimed in. And then my stepdad goes into the kitchen, and then we're talking about love language. So there's an app, and you take a quiz, right? I'm going to look it up so you guys could go in there. Let me see. It's a love language quiz, and I believe it's on 5lovelanguages.com. So if you haven't read that book...
I haven't read it.
Please read it.
I have to read it.
Please
I have
read
to read
it.
it.
Okay, so if you guys haven't taken this quiz and you don't know what your love language is or his love language is, go to 5lovelanguages.com and take this quiz.
We're in the process.
Yeah, it's answer it to the best of your knowledge and be honest, okay? So mine is act of service. Like, my main one is act of service. Like, if he knows I'm tired, you know, and I have to cook, baby, let me cook. Ooh. Or you know what? Let me order something. Don't worry about it. You're tired. Or if he sees that I have to do a shitload of laundry, baby, come on, let's fold it together. So my number one love language is act of service. And it's crazy because that's what it is. I'm not saying I want his help, but to me, actions speak louder than words. Absolutely. He could say, I love you all he wants, but I am looking more for actions, you know? My second one is words of affirmation. Baby, you're amazing. You're doing a great job. I love you. You're beautiful. Today you look amazing. Go kill it. Like, that's my second one, my second love language. And it goes in categories. So when you take this test, it's going to ask you all these questions, but it goes in categories, right? So based on those categories, those are your main love languages. My third one is quality time. And it's crazy because as a woman, you would think it would be first. But mine is third. Mine, go do your thing, I go do my thing, and we come back together, and I'm good. So the quality time was third for me. And then physical, it's crazy because physical touch is fourth. I 17% of that.
Wow.
I guess don't touch me. Don't touch me.
You're not a freak. I'm just kidding.
No, I just don't touch me till then.
Don't touch me till then, okay?
But I also don't like to cuddle. I told you that.
Yeah, you did tell
me that. I am
that.
not the cuddling person. I don't like, after everything's said and done, it's like, okay, good night. Bye. to my side, you know?
And I'm the complete opposite.
You cuddle.
I love to cuddle. I love to cuddle. I could cuddle all day.
You could give me like probably like 10 minutes max, 15 minutes max cuddling. And that's it. Then I get like suffocated, like
you're like, yeah,
claustrophobic, like ya estuvo, you know? And a lot of women love to cuddle. Yeah. Emma is a cuddling type.
Yeah, Mila is too.
That girl could put that.
Yeah, y toda like a teddy
And I'm
bear.
like, Emma, get off me.
You're like, you're sticky. It's hot.
You know? So, and then the last one is gifts. Receiving gifts.
Oh, wow. You start learning as you go. And unfortunately, it sucks that sometimes we have to learn the hard way. Mm-hmm. And, you know, you're going with regret or whatever.
Yeah,
but it's always all about improvement.
Always about improvement.
And self-awareness.
Yes. And just being you as well, you know? Be your own person. Don't be somebody you're not in a relationship. Because in that, at some point, you're going to be like,
tired of it.
Screw this. You're going to get tired of it. So be you. Learn what your partner wants and likes and needs.
Take the time to learn about each other. Take the time to, you know, like I said, being in a relationship for so long, you sometimes get caught up with a lot of things that you forget a lot about. A lot of things that hold the relationship or make that relationship last, right? So one of the things that I've learned is obviously, like I said, communication for sure. And that's something that was not happening. We communicated, but not to that extent. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So for sure, like if you love your significant other and you want to make it work and you both know you love each other, try to make it work, you know, figure out what it is that's causing that distance between you guys. And if you can't figure it out, but you still want to make it work, go to marriage counseling. Go try it. And at least you guys know you've tried literally everything. And if it doesn't work out, you know what I mean?
And have an open mind too, you know. For me, my advice to you would be get to know your partner. Get to know like you said, get to know each other, but at the same time, understand that person. Yeah. Understand where they're coming from and be patient with them.
Have empathy. Put yourself in their shoes.
Exactly. And then, you know, at the same time, don't, how can I say this? Don't assume. Mm-hmm. We assume a lot.
Or don't expect.
That would be my main advice. Don't expect something from him or her if they don't know what you want. Communication again. Yeah. And then just talk, you know, that has to be your best friend. I think your significant other should be your best friend, mm-hmm. your person. Yeah. You know, the one that is going to be there in the good and the bad.
And if you're just like me, like I said, you hate confrontation or the communication isn't there, try to learn about communication. How can you get better at it? What is the first step you need to do to start that? You know, maybe read some books. I'm actually going to go and I actually do want to start learning more about communication because like I said, right now I'm trying to communicate what I feel, but just learning about the word choices.
The proper words.
And that's something that I want to work on. Oh. It's all about bettering ourselves, you know?
We didn't touch this, but this is also very important. Your tone of voice.
Yeah.
Your demeanor.
And it's hard sometimes because when you're at the moment, you feel like you just want to let everything out and anger takes over. And the words that come out, is just the tone and everything.
Yeah. You could say the same thing, but when you say with a lower, like a softer demeanor or lower demeanor, however you want to put it, it comes like, okay, I see what you're saying. But if you have that demeanor, be like,
well, I'm hungry, then it comes off as,
cocínate o haz algo, haz una quesadilla. You know, it's just the demeanor on the way you say things and your tone of voice can make a big difference on what you're trying to communicate. So as long as
self-development, all of that.
And I'm very big when he would talk to me, be like, watch your demeanor, lower your tone. And that would just, he didn't like it. But it was just, no,
it's true. It's not like you're attacking
I'm not going to acknowledge it. No. Like your demeanor and tone of voice have to be at a certain level for me to pay attention. It's like a kid, right? If you're telling a kid yelling what they have to do, they're not going to pay attention. They're not listening to you. But if you go and you talk to that kid,
they'll process it better. Yeah.
Same
100%. And it all comes with patience too.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that you can be doing self-development for yourself.
Yes.
So I'm a huge believer in self-love, and, we as people already know what we're lacking.
Mm-hmm.
You do know, you're like, fuck, I fucked up on this. I need to get better at this. So if you do know you have a little flaw, and don't let your ego, don't let your pride get the best of you, fix it. Fix it, because at the end of the day, it's going to make you a better person, and it's going to make everyone around you you're going to be in a better situation.
Yeah, and you're going to be able to handle things better with a calmer head and more, centrado.
Centrado. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, guys.
So, wow, today was a good episode.
Yeah, I love this one. Thank you for the follows, the like this video on YouTube.
Leave us your
share
comments
it to help other people. Send us your comments. So next month we'll be inviting guests, so stay tuned. Our guests will be talking about their struggles in family, relationship, and business, how they overcame all that, and just giving you the perspective on all the stuff that they went through to get to where they're at. And It's going to be a female and male, so it's we're going to get both sides of the story, so stay tuned. Again, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you on the next episode of Ain't That Some